The vast expanse of space twinkled with countless stars, each one a silent witness to the grand galactic empire that had ruled for millennia. Among these celestial bodies, Earth stood as a relatively new addition to the interstellar community. It had been 3,000 years since humanity first stepped beyond its solar system and caught the attention of the Empire. In those early days, humans were wide-eyed explorers, eager to learn and integrate into the complex tapestry of galactic society. The Empire, ancient and set in its ways, saw potential in these newcomers. They welcomed humans into their fold, but with strict conditions. One of the most stringent rules imposed by the Empire concerned ship design. The Empire prided itself on uniformity and control, believing that standardized ships were key to maintaining order across the vast reaches of space. These ship design protocols were more than mere guidelines. They were immutable laws that all races, including humans, were expected to follow without question. The imperial shipyards churned out vessels that were nearly identical, regardless of the species that would crew them. Sleek and efficient, these ships were marvels of engineering, but they lacked any distinctive cultural touches. From the humblest trading vessel to the mightiest warship, all bore the unmistakable stamp of imperial design. Humans, known for their creativity and innovation, found these restrictions stifling. However, the allure of galactic citizenship and the promise of advanced technology were too tempting to resist. They agreed to the Empire's terms, setting aside their unique ideas and conforming to the established norms. As centuries passed, humanity's role within the Empire remained limited. They were permitted to colonize a handful of nearby systems, but their influence in galactic affairs was minimal. Human representatives sat in the Imperial Senate, but their voices were often drowned out by older, more established races. The ships crewed by humans were indistinguishable from those of other species. Walking through a human spaceport, one would see the same angular hulls and uniform color schemes that dominated every other dock in the Empire. The only hint of human touch might be found in the interior decor or the occasional piece of artwork adorning a captain's quarters. Despite these limitations, humans proved to be adaptable and hardworking. They excelled in roles that required quick thinking and problem-solving, earning a reputation as skilled traders and diplomats. Yet, there was always an undercurrent of restlessness among the human population, a sense that they were capable of so much more. This restlessness was particularly evident among the younger generations. Born into the Empire, they had no memory of Earth's independent past. They looked at the uniformed ships and wondered what designs their ancestors might have created if given free rein. Some even dared to sketch out alternative concepts in secret, dreams of ships that could never be built. The Empire, ever watchful, took note of this quiet discontent. Imperial observers reported that humans seemed to have an unusual fascination with their pre-Empire history, particularly the era of early space exploration. This was deemed harmless nostalgia, not worth serious concern. Little did the Empire know that this apparent nostalgia was fueling the hidden current of innovation. In remote colonies and secret labs, some humans were pushing the boundaries of what was possible within the confines of imperial law. They studied the approved designs meticulously, looking for loopholes and unexplored possibilities. As the 3000th anniversary of humanity's inclusion in the Empire approached, preparations began for a grand celebration. The Empire saw this as an opportunity to showcase the success of its assimilation policies. Humans were to be held up as a shining example of how a young race could be molded to fit perfectly into the galactic order. Imperial officials planned parades of standard ships, all piloted by humans proud to display their loyalty. Speeches were prepared, praising humanity's obedience and conformity. The Empire was confident that after 3 millennia, humans had fully embraced their place in the cosmic hierarchy. Yet, beneath the surface of apparent compliance, a storm was brewing. The sense of anticipation among humans was palpable, though its true nature remained hidden from imperial eyes. As the anniversary celebrations drew near, the stage was set for a revelation that would shake the very foundations of the Galactic Empire. In a dimly lit laboratory on a remote human colony, Dr. Aria Chen hunched over her workstation. Her eyes, tired but filled with determination, scanned the holographic display before her. This small room, hidden beneath layers of rock and secrecy, housed humanity's greatest hope for breaking free from the Empire's stifling control. Dr. Chen led a team of brilliant scientists and engineers, each handpicked for their skills and their ability to keep secrets. For years, they had worked tirelessly, pushing the boundaries of physics and engineering. Their goal was ambitious: to create a propulsion system that would revolutionize space travel while technically staying within the Empire's rigid guidelines. The team's breakthrough came from an unlikely source. While studying ancient Earth documents about pre-Empire space exploration, they stumbled upon theories that had been abandoned millennia ago. These old ideas, when combined with their advanced knowledge of Imperial technology, led to a stunning discovery. Dr. Chen called it the quantum fold drive. On paper, it looked like a standard Imperial engine, but in reality, it could bend space-time in ways the Empire had never imagined. Ships equipped with this drive could travel faster and more efficiently than anything in the known galaxy. As Dr. Chen made the final adjustments to her calculations, her second-in-command, Jake Foster, burst into the lab. His face was flushed with excitement. "Aria, the test results are in," he said, his voice barely above a whisper despite their secure location. "It works. It really works." Dr. Chen's usually serious face broke into a wide smile. "Show me," she replied, her hands already reaching for the data pad Jake was carrying. The numbers on the screen confirmed their wildest hopes. The prototype engine, disguised as a standard Imperial model, had outperformed all expectations. It was a moment of triumph, but also one of great danger. "We need to inform the Council," Dr. Chen said, her voice now serious. "They need to know we're ready." The council she referred to was a secret group of human leaders who had been planning for this moment for decades. They represented colonies across human-controlled space, united in their desire to see humanity reach its full potential. Within hours, a secure meeting was convened. Holographic figures flickered to life in the lab's conference room, each a key player in the grand plan they had all dedicated their lives to. Admiral Sarah Koslov, head of the human fleet, spoke first. "Dr. Chen, are you certain the Empire won't detect the true nature of the drive?" "As certain as we can be," Dr. Chen replied. "To all external scans, it will appear as a standard Imperial engine. Only when activated does its true power become apparent." The holographic figures murmured among themselves. The risk was enormous. If discovered, the consequences would be severe. The Empire did not tolerate any deviation from its established order. "What about production?" asked Governor Chang, his holographic form leaning forward. "Can we outfit enough ships in time for the anniversary celebration?" Jake stepped forward, pulling up production charts. "We've been preparing for this. Hidden factories are ready to begin immediate production. We can have a small fleet ready within months, all under the guise of standard refits and upgrades." The council debated for hours. The plan was audacious. They would use the upcoming 3000th anniversary celebration as cover to unveil their new ships. The timing was perfect. The entire galaxy would be watching. As the meeting concluded, Admiral Koslov addressed the group one final time. "What we're about to do will change the course of human history. There's no turning back once we start. Are we all in agreement?" One by one, the council members voiced their approval. The decision was made. Humanity would break free from the chains of Imperial conformity. As the holograms winked out, Dr. Chen turned to her team. The weight of their responsibility was palpable in the air. "Well," she said, a mix of excitement and nervousness in her voice, "let's get to work. We have ships to build and an empire to shock." The lab burst into activity. Messages were sent out in code, activating sleeper cells of engineers and workers across human space. In hidden shipyards and secret docks, construction began. To the Empire, it would all look routine, standard maintenance and upgrades for the anniversary celebration. But behind the facades of imperial design, a revolution was taking shape. As Dr. Chen looked over the bustling lab, she allowed herself a moment of pride. Soon, the galaxy would see what humanity was truly capable of. The countdown to the unveiling had begun. The grand halls of the Galactic Trade Summit buzzed with activity. Alien species from across the Empire mingled, their diverse forms creating a living tapestry of galactic diversity. The air was filled with a cacophony of languages, translated seamlessly by advanced communication devices. At the center of the massive space station hosting the summit stood the Imperial delegation. Their uniforms, crisp and identical, stood out among the varied attire of the other attendees. They watched with satisfaction as representatives from countless worlds discussed trade agreements, all neatly following Imperial regulations. The human delegation, as usual, was small and unassuming. They stood near the edges of the gathering, politely engaging in conversations, but careful not to draw too much attention. To the casual observer, they appeared no different from how they had for the past 3 millennia, obedient subjects of the Empire. As the summit's opening ceremony began, the station's massive viewports offered a stunning vista of the space beyond. Hundreds of ships hung in the void, representing the trading fleets of dozens of species. Their designs were virtually identical, a testament to the Empire's unyielding standards. The Emperor's hologram flickered to life, towering over the assembled delegates. His speech, filled with praises for imperial unity and the benefits of standardization, was met with polite applause. As he concluded, he announced the commencement of the traditional ship parade, a display of the Empire's naval might and the uniformity of its fleet. It was at this moment that the carefully laid plans of humanity were set in motion. As the Imperial ships began their choreographed dance through space, a murmur of confusion rippled through the crowd. Among the familiar shapes of Imperial vessels, new ships had appeared. Their hulls gleamed with an unfamiliar sheen, their lines both elegant and alien. "What are those?" The question was repeated in 100 languages as delegates pressed against the viewports for a better look. The Imperial officials, caught off guard, scrambled to make sense of the situation. Their comlinks buzzed with frantic messages as they tried to identify the interlopers. Suddenly, the strange ships burst into action. They moved with impossible speed and grace, weaving between the Imperial vessels with ease. The assembled delegates gasped in awe as the newcomers performed maneuvers that defied known laws of physics. In the midst of the chaos, Admiral Sarah Koslov stepped forward. Her voice, amplified by the station speakers, cut through the noise. "Esteemed delegates of the Galactic Empire," she began, her tone respectful but firm. "On behalf of humanity, I present to you the future of space travel." The view screen behind her lit up with technical specifications of the new ships. To the amazement of the alien engineers present, the designs appeared to be fully compliant with Imperial regulations, and yet they were utterly revolutionary. For 3,000 years, Koslov continued, humanity has been a loyal member of the Empire. We have followed your rules, adopted your ways, but we have not forgotten how to dream, how to innovate. The human delegation, no longer meek and unassuming, stood tall behind their admiral. Dr. Chen, her face a mix of pride and defiance, operated a holographic display showing the inner workings of the quantum fold drive. "We call it the Aurora class," Koslov explained, gesturing to the ships still dancing through space, fully compliant with Imperial standards, yet capable of feats you thought impossible. The Imperial officials, having regained some composure, pushed through the crowd. The head of the delegation, his face flushed with anger, confronted Koslov. "This is an outrage," he spluttered. "You cannot simply introduce new designs without proper authorization." Koslov smiled, a datapad appearing in her hand. "I think you'll find, sir, that we have followed every regulation to the letter. Our designs were submitted and approved through all the proper channels. It's not our fault if your bureaucrats didn't understand what they were looking at. The delegate's face paled as he scanned the documents. Everything was in order, stamped with official imperial seals. As the implications of what was happening sank in, the station erupted into chaos. Delegates from smaller worlds pressed forward, eager to learn more about the human ships. Representatives from older, more established races whispered urgently among themselves, their carefully maintained status quo suddenly under threat. In space, the Aurora-class ships continued their dance, a symbol of humanity's leap from obscurity to the forefront of galactic innovation. The age of conformity was over. A new era had begun, and the entire galaxy was watching. The aftermath of the Galactic Trade Summit was immediate and far-reaching. As news of humanity's technological leap spread across the Empire, reactions varied from awe to outrage. The Imperial Palace on the capital world of Centrum was a hive of frantic activity. Emperor Zaxun, ruler of 1,000,000 worlds, sat stone-faced as his advisors delivered their reports. His tentacles, usually a calm blue, had turned a dark purple with anger and concern. "How did we miss this?" he demanded, his translator conveying the fury in his alien voice. "How did a species barely out of their stone age 3 millennia ago manage to outsmart our entire bureaucracy?" High Counselor Vex, head of Imperial Intelligence, stepped forward nervously. "Your Majesty, it appears the humans exploited loopholes in our approval process. They submitted their designs in fragments, each part seemingly innocuous. Only when assembled did the true nature of their innovation become clear." The Emperor's eyes narrowed. "And none of our scientists realized the potential of these fragments." Silence fell over the room. The implications were clear. Either Imperial scientists had grown complacent, or human ingenuity had far surpassed their own. "We must act swiftly," declared Grand Admiral Krell, his exoskeleton clicking as he moved. "We should impound these ships immediately. Site safety concerns, potential violations of space-time regulations, anything." But Diplomatic Minister Lyra, her ethereal form shimmering with worry, interjected. "Caution, Your Majesty. Many worlds are already expressing interest in this human technology. Moving against them too aggressively could spark unrest." As the Imperial leadership debated, humanity faced its own challenges. On Earth and its colonies, celebrations of their technological triumph were tempered by the looming threat of Imperial retaliation. Admiral Koslov stood before the United Earth Council, the holographic faces of colonial leaders surrounding her. "The Empire's initial shock is wearing off," she reported. "They're beginning to respond, and not favorably." Governor Chang's hologram leaned forward. "What are we hearing from our allies within the Empire?" "Mixed responses," Koslov replied. "Some of the younger races are enthusiastic, seeing this as a chance for change. The older, more established species are warier. They have more to lose if the status quo shifts." Dr. Chen, newly appointed as Earth's Minister of Science, spoke up. "We're already receiving requests for technological exchanges from a dozen worlds. Some are offering significant concessions in return." The council murmured with excitement, but President Emilio Rodriguez raised a hand for calm. "We must tread carefully. Our goal was innovation, not rebellion. We need to find a way to move forward without triggering an all-out conflict with the Empire." Back on Centrum, the Emperor had reached a decision. "We will proceed on multiple fronts," he declared. "Publicly, we will praise human ingenuity, claiming this was the result of our benevolent guidance. Privately, we will do everything in our power to contain and control this technology." Imperial agents were dispatched across the galaxy. Their mission was twofold: to gather intelligence on the full extent of human capabilities, and to sow discord among potential human allies. On border worlds and trading hubs, rumors began to spread. Whispers of hidden flaws in human ships, of catastrophic accidents narrowly avoided. Imperial loyalists spoke loudly in public spaces about the dangers of untested technology, the folly of trusting a young race with such power. Meanwhile, Imperial shipyards worked overtime. Engineers pored over what little data they had on the quantum fold drive, desperate to reverse engineer its secrets. The Empire would not allow itself to fall behind for long. Humanity, aware of the growing backlash, worked to solidify its position. Diplomatic envoys were sent to key worlds, offering demonstrations of their technology. Trade agreements were drafted, carefully worded to create a network of mutual dependencies that would make it difficult for the Empire to isolate Earth. As tensions rose, the first cracks in the Empire's facade of unity began to show. Younger races, long chafing under strict imperial control, saw the humans as an inspiration. Some began to openly question why they should be bound by regulations that humans had so cleverly circumvented. The galaxy held its breath, watching to see how the Empire would respond to this challenge to its authority. In shipyards and laboratories, in diplomatic chambers and secret meetings, the next moves were being planned. The board was set, the pieces in motion. The game for the future of the galaxy had begun, and humanity was now a key player. As the galactic political landscape shifted, Earth's leadership knew they had to act decisively. President Rodriguez stood at the podium, her image broadcast across human colonies and to any alien world willing to listen. Behind her, an Aurora-class ship hovered majestically, a symbol of human achievement. For 3 millennia, she began, her voice steady and clear. Humanity has been a loyal member of the Galactic Empire. We have learned, grown, and contributed. But we have also dreamed. The ships you see today are not a challenge to the Empire, but a gift to all sentient beings. As she spoke, screens around her displayed the quantum fold drive in action. The technology was explained in simple terms, its benefits made clear to all. We stand ready to share this technology with all peaceful worlds, Rodriguez continued. Our goal is not dominance, but progress. We invite imperial scientists to work alongside ours, to explore the possibilities this breakthrough offers. The speech was a masterpiece of diplomacy, extending an olive branch while subtly reminding the galaxy of humanity's new leverage. Meanwhile, on the frontier world of Nexus Prime, a more practical demonstration was underway. A massive refugee crisis had erupted following a nearby supernova. Traditional relief efforts were struggling to keep up. Captain Yuki Tanaka of the Aurora-class ship Horizon received the distress call. Helm, plot a course for the Nexus system. Engage quantum fold drive. The ship disappeared in a flash of blue light, reappearing almost instantly at the edge of the crisis zone. Within hours, the Horizon had delivered more supplies and evacuated more refugees than an entire Imperial fleet could in days. News of the rescue spread rapidly. Footage of the Horizon's swift action was broadcast across the galaxy, showcasing the practical benefits of human innovation. On Centrum, the Imperial Palace was in chaos. The Emperor's earlier strategy of containment was crumbling in the face of public opinion. The humans are making us look incompetent, raged Grand Admiral Krell. We must seize their ships, force them to hand over the technology. But Diplomatic Minister Lyra countered. That would only turn more worlds against us. Already, 3 systems have threatened to secede if we move against Earth. The Emperor, his color now a mottled mix of conflicting emotions, made a difficult decision. We will accept their offer of collaboration. Send our best scientists to Earth. But make it clear, this is not a negotiation. We are still the Empire. As Imperial scientists arrived on Earth, they were greeted with open arms and open laughs. Dr. Chen personally led the tour of the Quantum Fold research facilities. As you can see, she explained to the visibly impressed Imperial team, our drive works in harmony with existing Imperial tech. It's an evolution, not a revolution. This was, of course, not entirely true. The Quantum Fold drive was revolutionary, but presenting it as a natural progression helped ease Imperial concerns. Across the galaxy, other races watched these developments with growing interest. The Arcturian Confederation, long neutral in Imperial politics, sent a delegation to Earth. Ambassador Xerix, his crystalline form shimmering, addressed the United Earth Council. "We have watched your species with great interest. Your drive to innovate, even under imperial restrictions, is admirable. The Confederation would be interested in discussing closer ties." Similar scenes played out on other worlds. Races that had long dismissed humanity as upstart newcomers now sought alliances and trade deals. But not all reactions were positive. The ancient Jothar Dominion, one of the founding members of the Empire, saw human ascendancy as a threat. High Lord Vexthal of the Dominion issued a scathing denouncement. "These humans are dangerous. Today, ships. Tomorrow, they'll challenge the very foundations of our society. They must be contained." As allies and enemies alike made their positions known, humanity worked tirelessly to secure its new place in the galactic order. Diplomatic missions were launched, trade agreements signed, and cultural exchanges initiated. In shipyards across human space, production of Aurora-class vessels ramped up. Each ship was a statement. Humanity would not be pushed back into obscurity. The galaxy was changing. Old alliances were being questioned, new possibilities imagined. And at the center of it all stood humanity, no longer content to be a minor player in a vast cosmic drama. As the dust settled from their initial reveal, one thing became clear to every species watching. Humanity was here to stay, and the age of unquestioned imperial dominance was over. As months passed, the initial shock of humanity's technological leap gave way to a new galactic reality. The Empire, once seemingly unshakable, found itself grappling with a changing cosmos. On the imperial capital of Centrum, Emperor Zaxun faced the most significant challenge of his long reign. The Grand Council chamber, usually a place of quiet obedience, now echoed with heated debates. "We cannot allow this human upstart to dictate the course of our empire," thundered Councillor Draz, his scaled skin flushing with anger. "We must reassert our authority." But others, like the reformed-minded Councillor Elia, saw opportunity in change. "Perhaps it's time we reconsidered some of our more restrictive policies," she suggested, her voice soft but firm. "The humans have shown us that innovation can flourish even within our framework." The Emperor, silent and contemplative, listened to the arguments raging around him. For the first time in centuries, the path forward was unclear. Meanwhile, across the galaxy, the ripple effects of human innovation continued to spread. On the industrial world of Forge, long known for its production of imperial standard ships, workers staged protests. "Why build the old when we can create the new?" Their leaders cried, waving banners depicting the sleek lines of Aurora-class vessels. The once rigid production lines of Forge began to experiment, melding imperial designs with hints of human ingenuity. In the Outer Rim, where imperial control had always been tenuous, entire sectors began to drift away from central authority. The Fringe Alliance, a loose coalition of frontier worlds, openly adopted human technology. "The Empire has ignored our needs for too long," declared Fringe leader Zara Voss, standing before a newly christened quantum fold ship. "It's time we forged our own path among the stars." But not all changes were peaceful. In the Jothar Dominion, conservative factions pushed for a hardline stance against Earth. Military shipyards worked overtime, attempting to match and exceed human capabilities. High Lord Vexthal, addressing his war council, spoke of dire threats. "These humans and their allies seek to upset the balance that has kept our galaxy peaceful for millennia. We must be prepared to defend our way of life." As tensions rose in some sectors, opportunities blossomed in others. The galaxy-renowned Andromeda Academy, long considered the pinnacle of scientific research, opened its doors to human scientists for the first time. Dr. Aria Chen, invited as a guest lecturer, stood before an auditorium filled with the brightest minds from 100 worlds. "The quantum fold drive is just the beginning," she explained, her eyes shining with excitement. "Together, we can push the boundaries of what's possible." The academic exchange sparked new collaborations, In laboratories across the galaxy, multi-species teams worked on projects that would have been unthinkable just a year before. On Earth, the United Earth Council grappled with their new role on the galactic stage. President Rodriguez, in a closed-door session, voiced the concerns many felt. "We've opened a door," she said, her expression serious, "but we must be careful not to let our success blind us to the responsibilities that come with it." Admiral Koslov, her uniform now adorned with new medals, nodded in agreement. "We're receiving requests for military alliances from a dozen worlds. We need to decide where we stand." The Council debated long into the night, weighing the risks and benefits of further challenging imperial authority. In the end, they chose a middle path: continued innovation coupled with diplomatic outreach. As humanity solidified its new alliances and navigated the complex waters of galactic politics, the Empire found itself forced to evolve. Ancient bureaucracies, unchanged for millennia, creaked under the pressure of reform. On some worlds, this evolution was welcomed. Citizens who had long chafed under rigid imperial control embraced the new spirit of innovation. Art, culture, and technology flourished in this atmosphere of change. But on others, particularly among the Empire's oldest and most established races, fear and resentment grew. They saw their privileged positions threatened by the rise of younger, more dynamic species. As the galaxy realigned itself, it became clear that the unveiling of the Aurora-class ships had been more than just a technological revolution. It was the spark that ignited a new age of galactic politics, where the old certainties no longer held true. The Empire, once monolithic and unyielding, began to fracture along lines of ideology and interest. And at the center of this transforming cosmos stood humanity, no longer a footnote in galactic history, but a driving force shaping the future of all sentient beings. As the galactic year drew to a close, the changes sparked by humanity's bold ship designs had reshaped the cosmic landscape. The once mighty galactic empire, while still a formidable force, was no longer the unchallenged master of known space. On Earth, the United Earth Council convened for its annual summit. Representatives from every human colony and Earth nation gathered in the Grand Assembly Hall in New Geneva. The mood was one of cautious optimism. President Rodriguez took the podium, her gaze sweeping across the assembled leaders. "A year ago, we revealed our Aurora-class ships to the galaxy. Today, we stand at the dawn of a new era, not just for humanity, but for all sentient beings." Holographic displays flickered to life, showing the spread of quantum-fold technology across the stars. Hundreds of worlds now boasted ships with the revolutionary drive, each one a symbol of the changing times. Admiral Koslov stepped forward to deliver her report. "Our diplomatic and technological exchanges have borne fruit. 27 former Imperial worlds have formed the Galactic Cooperative, with Earth as a founding member. This alliance represents a new balance of power in the galaxy." The assembly burst into applause, but Dr. Chen raised a hand for calm. "While we celebrate our achievements, we must also acknowledge the challenges ahead. Our rapid rise has disrupted millennia of galactic stability. We must be prepared for the consequences." As if to underscore her words, an urgent message flashed across the main screen. The Jothar Dominion, long opposed to human advancement, had launched an attack on a human research outpost in the Theta sector. The council erupted into heated debate. Some called for immediate military action, while others urged caution and diplomacy. President Rodriguez, her face grim, made the final decision. "We will not escalate this conflict," she declared, "but we will defend our people. Admiral, deploy the Third Fleet. Their orders are to evacuate our citizens and demonstrate our defensive capabilities. We will show the galaxy that we can wield power responsibly." Across the stars, the ripples of this decision spread quickly. The Galactic Cooperative rallied behind Earth, condemning the Jothar aggression. Even within the Empire, voices rose in support of human restraint. On Centrum, Emperor Zaxun faced the greatest test of his reign. The Imperial Palace buzzed with activity as reports flooded in from across the galaxy. The Emperor, his color a deep, thoughtful blue, addressed his fractious council. "For too long, we have relied on rigid control and uniformity," he said, his words shocking many of the older counselors. "The humans have shown us that true strength lies in diversity and innovation. It is time for the Empire to evolve." With these words, the Emperor announced a series of radical reforms. Imperial ship design protocols were relaxed, allowing for greater customization and innovation. Trade restrictions between member worlds were eased, and a new emphasis was placed on scientific collaboration. Not all welcomed these changes. In the Outer Rim, several hardline Imperial governors declared their independence, unwilling to accept the new order. The Jothar Dominion, humiliated by the failure of their attack, retreated into isolation, their borders closed to all outsiders. But for much of the galaxy, the reforms heralded a new age of prosperity and discovery. The Andromeda Academy, once the exclusive domain of the Empire's elite, opened branches on 100 worlds, including Earth. Scientists of all species worked side by side, pushing the boundaries of knowledge. In the shipyards of Mars, a new vessel took shape. Larger than any Aurora-class ship, it incorporated designs and technologies from a dozen different species. Its mission: to explore beyond the edges of known space, seeking out new life and new civilizations. As the ship, christened Unity, prepared for its maiden voyage, Captain Yuki Tanaka addressed her diverse crew. Humans stood alongside former Imperial citizens, united in their quest for knowledge. 3,000 years ago, humanity looked up at the stars and dreamed of this moment, Tanaka said, her voice filled with emotion. Today, we embark on a journey not just of exploration, but of cooperation. We go forward not as conquerors, but as friends, ready to forge a new future for all sentient beings. As Unity engaged its quantum-fold drive and disappeared into the depths of space, it carried with it the hopes and dreams of a changed galaxy. The era of rigid Imperial control was over. In its place, a new order was emerging, one of innovation, diversity, and shared progress. The journey that began with a bold ship design had led to a transformation none could have predicted. And as humanity looked to the future, they knew that their greatest adventures were still to come.